Leader team, and welcome to another Manager Transmissions. Since we're not having a manager meeting this week, you'll watch this video to keep yourself in the loop, and then we are going to have a manager meeting on August 22nd, but I'll send out a separate announcement about that. I have some really exciting things to talk about in this video, but first I just want to say thank you so much. We've had a really amazing couple weeks, and I've been really impressed at the teamwork that I've seen as we've been supporting a couple people who were out of town. I know that it's harder to work longer hours, longer shifts, and more days, and the business has not slowed down. So I just really appreciate all the efforts that have been made to continue giving great service and making sure that it's a success. So the exciting stuff that's coming up, we are creating a couple new positions here at the Mill House. One of them is a host manager. So we have this amazing girl that we met. Her name is Anna. She's going to be joining the team. She'll mostly be working mids, 11 to 7, and she's going to actually be a manager, but her focus is solely on the hosts right now. We really want to make sure that that first impression for our guests is a positive one. We want to really strategize the flow of service, and there's a lot of ways we can do that at the host stand, watching the flow that each server is getting, each section, the entire dining room, and how we're flowing back to the kitchen. So I think it's going to be amazing. She comes with a lot of qualifications, and she's ready to jump on board. And at the same time, we've promoted Elsie and Megan to be lead hosts. So all three of those girls will be undergoing some training together to really become a little leadership unit up at the host stand and take us to the next level of success. It's perfect timing for that to happen because we will be moving the host stand into the new theater room when that's finished, and we're going to build out a custom host stand for them. So it couldn't all be happening at a better time to prepare for the busy season. The other position that we have created, and someone in our own team has fortunately accepted, is that of a front of house expediter. And Uwe is going to be fulfilling that role for us. So she's going to step up to the line next to the kitchen expos and be helping to facilitate the flow of service from the back end, consistency, the way things are plated, the portion size, what they're plated on, when they're coming out, and then how they're ran. So making sure tables are preset before we run something to them, helping Taylor and the other expos, really efficiently get orders out as soon as they're ready, keeping an eye on cold. And then also helping to be the liaison and bridge between the back of house and the front of house. So when an issue comes up, having someone who can quickly make a decision, okay, here's how we can make the guest happy, I'm firing it, you go back to the floor, I got this, keeping eyes for the ticket, get it to the guests quickly. All of those types of scenarios, helping with the new allergy system that we're putting in place. So I think Uwe's really perfect for it. She's been kind of prepping herself for this role ever since she started here, and I'm really excited to see her next little step of growth and development. In the meantime, while she's still serving some shifts and being a expediter other shifts, we have promoted her to lead server. So she's also going to be taking on those extra point of sale responsibilities and leadership responsibilities on the floor. So congratulate her when you see her, congratulate Elsie and Megan, and let's welcome them into the team, give them a lot of proper training, and get them going in their new roles. Toyga's back, yay. He's training on Chef's Table with me tonight. It's Saturday, and he's going to be our Chef's Table guy from here on out. He'll be here all this week. It's his first week as a manager by himself, not training. So again, just keeping eyes out and offering him support as much as possible. And then we're excited to have James joining us again this week, and moving forward with some of the projects that we had all been working on together. Let's see here. We have a few things I'd like you to keep an eye on. These are just coaching opportunities that I've noticed throughout the last week or so. One thing we can definitely keep an eye on is that we ourselves but also other employees are not standing at the well distracting the bartenders. Just keeping that training going of moving around the floor. We want to always be doing our figure eights or double figure eights, whatever it is, to check on all the tables, and making sure that everybody who's at a station, whether it's an expo or a bartender, can kind of keep in their groove. We want to keep an eye on walking the grounds constantly. So with a really large, expansive restaurant and all the wind coming through, trash tends to be a bigger issue than it might be at other restaurants, or just like things flying about, and there's so much area to cover. So just definitely before your shift starts, but throughout your shift, make a mental point to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go walk the grounds. Just walk them, make sure everything's in order. Are the chairs tucked in? Are things in their place? Is trash picked up? And it doesn't mean that you need to necessarily be the person to then remedy all of those. You can definitely grab a busser or a host or whoever to hop on that with you and just make sure that it's all looking nice for our guests when they arrive. We're going to be focusing a little more with the servers on clearing until the end. So part of the, I guess, attempt at great precision that is part of one of our core tenets of service here is that people don't have more than they need at any time on the table, but they do have everything they need. So if they're still using something, of course we're not going to clear it, but when a cocktail glass is done, we want to clear and see if they have another on the way. If they've finished using the sugar caddies and they're on to dessert now, iced tea is finished, we can clear those. That's just a few small examples. There's endless amounts of these. We just want to make sure that everybody is constantly clearing till the end. Ideally, by the end, all that's on a table when a guest leaves is a check, 2 napkins, and 2 water glasses. There's always exceptions to that, especially during busy lunch services, but just keeping it nice and tight. We want to really get everybody back to the dish pit frequently. You guys have been doing an amazing job with this, and already in the last week I've seen a huge improvement. And now when I walk past the dish station and I look at the stainless shelves, so much has been brought out and stocked to the stations, and it's great. So let's just keep that up, because we're in a good momentum where everybody's really starting to get that as a habit. So we'll keep up with that. And then the area that we need to continue to focus a little more tightly that we haven't quite gotten habitual is the wine station. So just really making sure that we bring down clean polishing towels for them, and that the wine station's really stocked. There's maps there now. We got our new wine chillers in. So we have enough to stock it. We got new polishing rags. Let's just make sure it is stocked, everything polished all the time, decanters cleaned, and getting the staff in the habit of that. So that's the responsibility of the servers and the drink runners. The calling of hands is something I just wanted to touch on briefly. I think that as a front of house, we could have just a little more understanding of when the back of house yells hands, and they're going to do the same for us as well in the front. It is, frustrating on both ends when you're walking down the hallway and you hear hands yelled loudly or aggressively, but they're also worried about getting food out in a timely manner, making sure it's hot, delivered correctly and efficiently. So we're just on both sides always going to show some understanding in that. When somebody yells hands, they might be really stressed out. Maybe they're really worried that somebody's not going to be back in time. It's a good opportunity for a front of house manager to be like, how's the pace of my runners? Are my runners getting back quickly enough? Okay, good, they are. Maybe they aren't. We need to encourage them to do so. So we're just going to try and have a little understanding on both sides with that and see how it works. The last part, in terms of housekeeping items I want us to be coaching on, is just continuing with the full hands in and out of dining areas and stocking areas. So I definitely have seen Stephanie and Scott doing a great job of, gently and quickly coaching someone in, oh, full hands, let's hurry and grab this together, or oh hey, head in from the dish pit, let's grab stuff. And already it's made a difference in a lot of the staff. I think the rest of you are probably doing the same. Let's just keep it up, keep that momentum going, because then we'll have some new habits firmly in place with the dish station always coming out, full hands in, full hands out, not standing at stations and distracting expediters or bartenders, and clearing until the end. Those are some of the housekeeping and coaching things for managers. I just wanted to leave you with a little bit of a final thought, like we do in pre-shift. So this is just a little note from Danny Myers, Setting the Table. He's sharing an experience where he says, people who aren't alerted in advance about a decision that will affect them may become angry and hurt. I think that this is an area that I myself can improve a lot upon. Ironically, I'm the director of communications, but communications I think is something that everyone can always improve upon. You know, when you talk to somebody about what's the most important thing in a marriage to make it successful, they'll tell you communications, good communications. So I'm going to work on this a lot, and I'm hoping that you'll all join me. I hope you'll join me in reminding me when I can do a better job of it, and in understanding how you can help me in that too. So as we make changes, as we tighten up structure a little bit, as we roll out some of these new positions, we want to be communicating beforehand, over communicating, and making sure that everybody's in the loop as we roll something out. There's a lot of ways we can do that. Slack is one, but we have to remember that not all of our employees are on Slack, so Humanity is a great other way. And that might be in the form of a video and a digital announcement. Also, putting up announcements in the physical hallway is a great way. Pre-shift is a great way. And pulling people aside and just asking them as they arrive for their shift, hey, did you get a chance to read those recent announcements? They may affect you during your shift today. He goes on to say that people may be confused, out of the loop, and feel as though they've been knocked off of their lily pads. When team members complain about poor communication, they're essentially saying, you did not give me advance warning or input about all the decisions that you had made. By the time I learned about it, the decision had already happened, and then I was unprepared. Team members will generally go with the flow and be willing to hop over ripples so long as they know in advance that you are going to toss a rock, and when you'll be tossing it, and how big it is, and mostly why you're choosing to toss it in the first place. So a great example of that is that we are going to put into rotation 2 smaller busing carts this week. It's a really small thing, but we're going to let everybody know it's happening before it happens. The reason that we're putting 2 smaller ones in rotation in the hallway for the bussers for dishware is so that it's a little lighter load for them to get to the dish station quickly, and it will fill up faster, but that's a good thing because we want that to get back to the dish station faster, because then the dishes get washed and back into rotation for the line more quickly. So with a bigger cart, it might tend to sit in the hallway longer. With this, there will be more frequent trips, but overall that's a good thing because we can get everything into rotation more. So we're going to let everybody know about that before we do it, and then we'll put it into place. The key is to anticipate the ripple effects, and then any decision before you implement it, gauge whom it will affect and to what degree. So with the recent example I gave, it will definitely affect the stalkers and bussers more, so we'll really want to touch base with them. Poor communication is generally not a matter of miscommunication. More often, it involves taking away people's feeling of control. Change only works when people believe it is happening for them and not to them, and there's not much in between in their view. Good communication is always a factor in good hospitality. Just like the marriage example I gave, the better communication we have around here, I think the better hospitality we're going to give. And like I said, I'm excited to improve on this myself and pay a lot closer attention to it, and I'm excited to do that along with all of you. I hope you have a great week. We've got some exciting things this week. Dane is competing in the World Mai Tai competition, and he's totally going to win. And we're going to have the world's best Mai Tai, and everyone's going to flood the place to have one. We're doing some awesome things with Koloa at happy hour, and it's really succeeding. We're packed every day. Have a great week, and I'll see you again next week.